All right. Hello again, everyone. With football season upon us now, we are going to be opening up a box of football cards today. Got 1989 NFL Pro Set Series 2. Looking for a Barry Sanders rookie, Deion Sanders rookie, Troy Aikman rookie, Michael Irvin, and some of the stars of yesterday. All right. Let's see what we got. All right. Randall McDaniel, Daryl Grant, Jerry Robinson, Vaughn Johnson, Vi Sakema, Dave Remington, Mike Shanahan, Billy Joe Tolliver, Leslie O'Neal, Lars Tate, Fred Marion, Dan Marino. All right, we'll put Marino on the stand. Bob Golick, JT Smith, Joe Theismann. All right. So, how, your NFL fans, how is your team looking to shape up this year? Being a Commanders fan, it was nice to get that win week 1, but other than that, not too sure how we're going to do here. Andre Rison, all right. Before his house got burned down by Left Eye. Tony Casillas, Jim McMahon, Rowan Stark, Joel Williams, Sam Weich, Ron Mayer, Raymond Berry. So 3 coaches here. Brian Washington, Steve Young. Put Steve Young up here. And Jimmy Johnson. And Ahmad Rashad. All right. Chris Chandler, Bruce McNorton, Jackie Slater, Fred Young, John Stevens, Sean Collins, Everson Wallace, Gizmo Williams, Joe Gibbs. All right, gotta show some love to Coach Gibbs. Ed Too Tall Jones, Dennis Smith, Sean Collins, Ron Wolfe, Louis Sharp, Steve Sable. All right. Delton Hall, LT. LT on the stand. Tim Rosenbach, Hassan Jones, Darryl Green, Bill Pickle, Perry Williams, Mike Ditka. Show Ditka some love. Terry Hogue, Stacy Torin, Gizmo Williams, Dennis McKnight, Ron Holmes, Sean Farrell, Joe Namath. Eric Caddis, Bill Moss, Louis Lips, Bill Parcells, put him down here. Joe Devlin, Randall McDaniel, Daryl Grant, Jerry Robinson, Vaughn Johnson, Vi Sakema, Dave Remington, Mike Shanahan, Billy Joe Tolliver, Leslie Neal, Mike Patrick. All right. Carl Mecklenburg, Cleveland Gary, Johnny Holland, Gerald Riggs, Vaughn Johnson, Jay Schroeder, Pete Medzalaris, Mike Lansford, Wilbur Marshall, John Grimsley, Michael Kofer, Eric Caddis, Bill Moss, Louis Lips, O.J. Simpson. Excuse me. All right. Wesley Walls, Buddy Ryan, Warren Moon. All right, we'll put Warren up here. Eddie Murray, Bruce Kozarski, Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare. I'll put him up there. Delton Hall, another LT. Tim Rosenbeck, Hassan Jones, another Darryl Green. Bill Pickle, Perry Williams, another Ditka, and Dick Enberg. All right. Ricky Jackson, Joe Devlin, Frank Minifield, Eric McMillan, Eric Caddis, Jerry Rice, Billy Joe Tolliver, George Seifert, Herschel Walker, Dan Reeves, Brian Washington, Gene Stallings, Freddie Joe Nunn, Bob Golick, Pete Axelhelm. All right. Ed Too Tall Jones, Dennis Smith, Sean Collins, Rob Wolfe, Louis Sharp, Greg Townsend. Got Boomer Esiason. All right, we'll put Boomer on the stand. Paul Moyer, Jamie Gathers, Tim Rosenbach, Gerald McNeil, Johnny Hector, Bruce Kozer, Don Griffin, Pete Axelhelm. All right. Dalton Hillard, Broderick Thomas, Clay Matthews, Reggie McElroy, Henry Thomas, Jeff Fuller, John Grimsley, Michael Kofer, Eric Caddis, Bill Moss, Louis Lips, Parcells, Joe Devlin, Brandon McDaniel, Tom Jackson. Farrell Edmonds, Otis Wilson, Lionel Emanuel, Dave Wyman, Gary Zimmerman, David Williams, Floyd Dixon, Dennis McKinnon, Chris Hinton, Rob Riddick, Carl Zander, Joe Walton, Garen Veris, Wesley Walls, Will McDonough. Billy Joe Tolliver, George Seifert, Herschel Walker, Dan Reeves, Brian Washington, Gene Stallings, Freddie Joe Nunn, Bob Golick, Tim Cremari, Jacob Green, Ricky Jackson, Joe Devlin, Frank Minifield, Eric McMillan, Bill Walsh. So far, we really haven't found much. All right, Sean Farrell, Roy Foster, Greg Townsend, Mark Collins, Tony Woods, Scott Studwell, Tony Mandrich, Stacey Bailey, Dave Dearson, Chris Chandler, Bruce McNorton, Jackie Slater, Fred Young, John Stevens, Vern Lundquist. Tim Cremieri, Jacob Green, Ricky Jackson, Joe Devlin, Frank Minfield, Eric McMillan, Eric Caddis, another Jerry Rice, Jerry Glanville, Carl McElkenberg, Cleveland Gary, John Holland, Gerald Briggs, Vaughn Johnson, Dick Butkus. Roy Foster, Greg Townsend, Mark Collins, Tony Woods, Scott Studwell, Troy Mandrich, Stacey Bailey, Dave Durison, Chris Chandler, Bruce McNorton, Jackie Slater, Fred Young, John Stevens, Sean Collins, Bob Costas. Jerry Burns, Andre Rison. Tony Casillas, Jim McMahon, Ron Stark, Joel Williams, Stan White, Rob Meyer, Raymond Berry, Brian Washington, Jimmy Johnson, Billy Joe Tolliver, George Seifert, Herschel Walker, Steve Sable. Lars Tate, Fred Marion, Dan Marino. Bob Golick, Leonard Marshall, J.T. Smith, Jerry Burns, another Andre Rison. Tony Casillas, Jim McMahon, Rowan Stark, Joel Williams, Ron Meyer, Raymond Berry, Tom Jackson. No correlation in these for this year. I don't know. There's really no rhyme or reason to this. Greg Townsend, Boomer Esiason. Paul Moyer, James Gathers, Tim Rosenbach, Gerald McNeil, Johnny Hector, Bruce Kozerski, Don Griffin, Tony Zendejas, Clarence Kay, Bill Hawkins, Mark Lee, Mike Kern, Perry Williams, Mike Stram. All right. Bill Parcells, Joe Devlin, Randall McDaniel, Daryl Grant, Jerry Robinson, Vaughn Johnson, Vi Sakima, Dave Remington, Mike Shanahan, Billy Joe Tolliver, Leslie Neal, Lars Tate, Fred Marion, Dan Marino, Bob Trumpy. Free that corner here. All right. Terry Hogue, Stacy Torin, Gizmo Williams, Dennis McKnight, Ron Holmes, Sean Farrell, Roy Foster, Greg Townsend, Tony Woods, Scott Studwell, Tony Mandrich, Stacey Bailey, Dave Durison, Chris Chandler, Dick Stockton. All right. Free up some room here. Let me just pull these packs out of the box here. Mix these up a little bit. Clean off some of these trash bag wrappers I got here. All right. Let's carry on. Daryl Grant, Jerry Robinson, Vaughn Johnson, Vi Sakima, Dave Remington, Mike Shanahan, Billy Joe Tolliver, Leslie Neal, Lars Tate, Fred Marion, another Marino. It's like our fourth Marino we got. Golick, Leonard Marshall, J.T. Smith, James Brown. Let's get something decent in here. Jay Schrader, Pete Milizaris, Mike Lansford, Wilbur Marshall, John Grimsley, Michael Kofer, Eric Caddis, Bill Moss, Louis Lips, Bill Parcells, Joe Devlin, Randall McDaniel, Daryl Grant, Jerry Robinson, Joe Namath. Lee Williams, Cornelius Bennett, Jim Everett, Russ Grimm, Warren Moon, Eddie Murray, Bruce Kozerski, Christian Okoye. That's second year. Delton Hall, Lawrence Taylor, Tim Rosenbach, Hassan Jones, Darryl Green, Bill Pickle, O.J. Simpson. Jerry Burns, Andre Rison. It's like our fourth one of him. Tony Casillas, Jim McMahon, Rowan Stark, Joe Williams, Sam Weich, Ron Meyer, Raymond Berry, Brian Washington, Jimmy Johnson, Billy Joe Tolliver, George Seifert, Herschel Walker, Vern Lundquist. Buddy Ryan, Eric Allen, Mark May, Steve Pulier, Sammy Winder, Wesley Walls, Marv Levy, Nico Noga, Otis Wilson, Joe Kelly, Brian Millard, Dalton Hillard, Roderick Thomas, Clay Matthews, Jack Buck. All right. Eric Caddis, Jerry Rice, Glanville, Carl Mickelsburg, Cleveland Gary, Johnny Holland, Gerald Riggs, Vaughn Johnson, Jay Schroeder, Pete Mezzalaris, Mike Lansford, Wilbur Marshall, John Grimsley, Michael Kofer, Al Michaels. Still looking for Aikman, Dion, Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson, Bruce McNorton, Jackie Slater, Fred Young, John Stevens, Sean Collins, Everson Walls, Gizmo Williams, Coach Gibbs, Ed Too Tall Jones, Dennis Smith, Sean Collins, Ron Wolfe, Louis Sharp, Greg Townsend, Ken Stabler. Reggie McElroy, Henry Thomas, Jeff Fuller, Mike Rozier, Rulon Jones, Dion. We got a Deion Sanders rookie. All right. Ken Rutgers, Chris Miller, Mike Merriweather, Dan Henning, Ronnie Harmon, Leroy Irvin, Anthony Bell, Bruce Matthews, Frank Gifford. All right. Got a Dion. Coach Prime. Tony Zendejas, Clarence K, Billy Hawkins, Mark Lee, Mike Ken, Perry Williams, Lee Williams, Cornelius Bennett, Jim Everett, Russ Grimm, Warren Moon, Eddie Murray, Bruce Kozlarski, Christian Okoye, Dick Butkus. Dan Reeves, Brian Washington, Gene Stallings, Freddie Joe Nunn, Bob Golick, Tim Krumke, Jacob Green, Ricky Jackson, Joe Devlin, Frank Minfield, Eric McMillan, Eric Caddis, Jerry Rice, Glanville, Hank Stram. Brian Washington, Jimmy Johnson, Jonathan Hayes, Tim Rosenbach, Hassan Jones, Darrell Green, Bill Pickle, Perry Williams, Mike Ditka, Terry Hogue, Stacy Torin, Gizmo Williams, Dennis McKnight, Ron Holmes, James Brown. All right, we've got 5 more packs left. See if we can get something out of this. All right. Herschel Walker, Dan Reeves, Brian Washington, Gene Stallings, Freddie Joe Nunn, Bob Golick, Tim Krumke, Jacob Green, Ricky Jackson, Joe Devlin, Frank Minfield, Eric McMillan, Gizmo Williams, Joe Gibbs, Irv Cross. All right. Sean Collins, Everson Wallace, Gizmo Williams, another Joe Gibbs, Ed Too Tall Jones, Dennis Smith, Sean Collins, Ron Wolfe, Louis Sharp, Greg Townsend, Boomer Esiason, Paul Moyer, James Geathers, Tim Rosenbach, Merlin Olsen. All right. Bubba Paris, Everson Wallace, Gizmo Williams, Joe Gibbs, Ed Too Tall Jones, Dennis Smith, Sean Collins, Rod Wolfe, Louis Sharp, Greg Townsend, Boomer Esiason, Paul Moyer, James Geathers, Rosenbach, Ahmad Rashad. All right. Golick, J.T. Smith, Jerry Burns, Andre Rison, Tony Casillas, Jim McMahon, Rowan Stark, Joel Williams, Sam Weich, Ron Meyer, Raymond Berry, Brian Washington, Jimmy Johnson, Warren Moon, Dick Enberg. All right, last pack here. Gerald McNeil, Johnny Hector, Brian Kozlarski, Don Griffin, Tony Zendejas, Clarence K, Hawkins, Mark Lee, Mike Ken, Perry Williams, Lee Williams, Cornelius Bennett, Jim Everett, Russ Grimm, Will McDonough. All right. Well, we didn't find much of anything here. I don't want to go out like that, being that we just returned after a long hiatus. So, let me get a couple more things here we can open up. See what we can find. All right. Let's see what I got here. Got a couple more packs here. We're going to move to some baseball. All right. Got a couple packs of 92 Stadium Club. Let's see what we get here. See if baseball is better to us than football. Let's hope these cards are not really bricked beyond belief here. All right. Derek Bell. Hector Wagner. Tom Prince. Brian Smith. Steve Chitrin. Their sweepstakes card. Chuck Finley. Todd Froworth. David Haas. Frank Tanana. Tim Burke. Jeff Fassero. Tom Goodwin. Sid Landrum. Sid Bream. Tony Phillips. All right. Well, that pack wasn't much there. Let's try another one. All right, we've got Mike Hartke, Sean Hare, Steve Fry, John Vanderwall, sweepstakes card, Gary DiSarcina, Julio Vera, Alvaro Espinoza, John Habian, Mark McGuire. All right, we'll let's put McGuire on the side there. Carlos Maldonado, Dave Justice Member's Choice. All right, I was always a Justice fan. It's a hot card to get back in the day. Kirk Gibson, Bill Hasselman, Darren Dalton, Will Clark. All right. Let's open up a couple more, shall we? All right, let's try some 93 Donruss. Let's try some 93 Donruss. All right. Jimmy Jones, Paul Wagner, Reggie Jefferson, Roberto Kelly, Ben McDonald, Checklist, Ozzie Guillen, Mike Perez, Bobby Ayala, Mitch Williams, Bud Black, Scooter Tucker. All right, let's try another pack of 93 Donruss. Kurt Manwaring, Domingo Martinez, Jack Morris, Dean Palmer, Bobby Witt, Kirk McCaskill, Real Corimer, Paul Sorrento, Darren Jackson, Juan Guzman, Brian Barnes, Brady Anderson. I was always a Brady fan, so I'm going to pull him. Jeff Conan, Roger Pavlik. All right, not much there. Let's try 91 Fleer Ultra. Got a couple packs of this to try. Let's see what we can pull. All right, we've got our Minnesota Twins sticker, Trapper Keeper sticker. Cecil Fielder, Mike York, Glenn Davis, boo. Greg Carteret, Steve Sachs, Greg Gagne, Dick Schofield, Scott Fletcher, Checklist, Ken Caminetti, Sammy Sosa. Is that a rookie? That's a Sammy Sosa rookie. All right, we'll take that. Lonnie Smith, Sandy Alomar Jr. All right, let's try one more. One more 93 Ultra. Or, I'm sorry, 91 Ultra. All right, we've got New York Mets sticker. Spike Owen, Alvin Davis, Ricky Henderson. All right. Dwight Gooden, Olerud, Pat Kelly, Dwight Smith, Gerald Young, Keith Miller, Daryl Irvine, Paul Ferris, Francisco Cabrera, Rod Dibble, Junior Noboa. All right. So I want to go out on a high note here. I got one more. I got a rack pack we can try of 89 score. All right, so let's see what we can pull out of these. All right, first section, we got Tim Raines, Kelly Downs, Bobby Ojeda, Bill Swift, Stupid Trivia Card, Tom Niedenfuer, Sid Fernandez, Chuck Krim, Don Sutton, Rance Mulkins, Luis Polonia, Sean Hilligus, Zane Smith, Dennis Lamp, Ron Oester, Jeff Leonard. Wow. All right, we get the last two sections open. All right. Wes Lancaster, Willie Randolph, Hojo, another Stupid Trivia Card, Tim Burke, Roberto Alomar, Storm Davis, Bruce Suter, Daryl Morick, Tom Foley, Rick Shue, Craig Reynolds, Joaquin Andujar, Charlie Hayes, Geronimo Baroa, Luis De Los Santos. All right. Our last section, we got a Bo Jackson insert. All right. Sorry, Jerry. I'll put Bo up here. Darnell Coles, Dave Martinez, Craig Lefferts, another trivia. Dave Collins, Doug Sisk, Jack Howell, Melito Perez, Joey Meyer, Alan Ashby, Mike Scott, Glavin. It's Glavin's second year. Ernest Riles, Jose Rijo, Mike Campbell, Bob McClure. All right. Well, I think we're going to quit here while we're ahead. Can't all be winners, all right? Well, we did get a Dion, but other than that, not much here to brag about. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Till next time.